Deadwood Tobacco Company. I thought you had a Deadwood before, but maybe it was a different one. Okay.
Not that one.
No, I did.
Yeah, I know you've had it before.
I had one. I had a Deadwood.
That we talked about.
It wasn't this one, but I had a Deadwood.
I have never actually seen that one before.
Let it be said on the podcast. These Deadwood Tobacco Company cigars.
Pretty good.
It's number 2, and I'm already saying it's good.
I do struggle with noticing a huge difference between cigars.
Dr. Pepper's good.
Ah.
I love Texas.
Me too.
I really like Texas. Just like Pat Green sings at the end of every Rangers win.
Yes. Yep. And
here we go to a Rangers game. When the Rangers win, they play Pat Green's I Like Texas at the end. Pat Green's the Texan. From the Hill Country. Went to Tech. And fortunately lost his brother and his family in the Hill Country floods.
I knew that.
Yep.
So I'm trying a new. Has a very that has a very tobacco-y smell, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I feel like it's. I was gonna say like a real cigar. I know that doesn't make sense, but I like it.
So trying a little bit of a different approach today with the Twitch. Normally I have it on my phone, but going to try it on the computer today. We're trying to multitask here. I really need a bigger screen if I'm going to do this, but we'll just take it like that and hide this.
For the new setup for season 2, I'm working on a screen for us and a screen behind us.
Ooh.
And integrating the Twitch with this, so whenever we play clips, they can hear it.
Ooh.
And we'll be able to just use these microphones.
Okay.
I'm working on that.
Okay.
So
I'm looking forward to it.
Season 2 coming at you in about a month.
Hold on. Let me just close this. Close this. So I actually thought about that today. I forgot that my son had this ginormous, well, it's not a ginormous TV, but it's like a, I don't know, it's probably like a 20-something inch TV. And I thought, man, I wonder if there's a way we could put that like right here so it's bigger for me to see.
Yeah, the screen for us, I'm going to just run that one over there that we already have in here, and then we'll have one in our camera shot as well for any clips we play.
Okay. Look at us.
Look at us.
Moving on up.
One season in. Almost.
It's almost been a year.
It has.
I think this is about the time we started talking about it, though. Like, actually, like, can we do this?
Yeah. I mean, like, started talking about it the time that we actually did it. We've talked about it for 4 or 5 years.
Because it was right after he
was shot. Yeah. So that's been about a year, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Twitch peeps. It's going at 4:30. It's going to be a little bit inconsistent over the next couple of weeks, with school starting back, and we're going to try to go on Sunday afternoons, evenings. So didn't warn anybody. We just put it out there.
I have another victory that's about a year old. I finally claimed victory over these barn sparrows that have been nesting on my front porch. I've tried so hard.
Did you claim victory, or did they just go away?
They're still here, but they don't have a place to stay anymore. Short of me blowing up my front porch, I finally got rid of them. I got some ugly bird spikes now, but I don't have bird poop all over my front porch anymore.
Yeah, and
they're so, like, I feel like they're so dumb, or I don't know. I should Google this, but they won't leave. I can't tell you how many times I've knocked their nest down, power washed the whole thing off, and they still come right back and build it in the same exact spot.
And it's overnight.
Yeah.
Like, they build them on our back porch.
This time
overnight.
it had two pieces of sidewalk chalk in it that I picked up from the kids. Like, They're resourceful little buggers.
Yeah,
But like, I don't know why they keep coming back to the same spot. It's like, do they find a spot and they can only nest there? Like once they pick a spot, they can't change their mind.
maybe.
That's probably their thing.
I know that they have one piece of mud stuck to mine that I cannot get off.
They're the worst. But they're not gone. They're hanging out on my gutter on the second floor.
I can't.
I hope they're not trying to build one up there.
Yeah, I can't get rid of ours. We have some in our dryer vent thing, like that's on the side of the house. I guess it's an exhaust on the house side of the house, and I've put galvanized steel things graded, and they still get in there. I don't know where they get. I don't even really know how they get in there, honestly, because they're like 1 inch by 1 inch squares.
Yeah, yeah.
And so there's got to be another way that they're getting in there that I just don't know.
I don't know. But if this didn't work, I was going to resort to the pellet gun. That was going to be my next.
Well, I took it down early in the season, and it had like 4 eggs in it. And of course, that upset the daughter, the middle daughter, a lot. So this time I couldn't get them down before the eggs hatched. I think they build it and lay their eggs very quickly. This is a lot of barn swallow talk that I didn't anticipate.
It's a problem. It's a problem. They're invasive.
Yeah, I don't understand.
You build it anywhere. I don't care. Just don't put it on my front porch and then poop.
Yeah, because it's
all over my front porch.
Well, and then it destroys the concrete.
That and like the paint, everything.
Yes.
On my columns. And
yes.
So dumb.
Yes.
But it's relevant to my life right now. So
I can hear them. I know you can't hear it in the microphone.
Yeah.
But you can hear them when I was sitting in here a while ago.
They hate me because they know I'm the one that knocks their nest down. I come outside, they all start chirping and flying around. Sound of the alarm.
Yep. I get the same.
I swatted one of them because they're coming close, swirling around you, trying to I don't know if he's going to try and peck me or something, but he got too close. I smacked that sucker down to the ground. He hopped back up and flew away though.
The mockingbirds attack our dogs in the backyard.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I mean, like regular. They have we have like trees that sit along the side of our house because they're right on the road, and they have nests up in there. And if they're walking the fence, especially our old dog, they'll get him right on the back, and it don't bother him at all. He just keeps going.
Yeah, if they were mockingbirds, I don't know what I would do because that's state bird of Texas.
They can't do nothing about it.
Can't mess with that.
Just leave them alone.
That's their property now. But they gone.
We started coaching this week. I got 2 things I got to tell you about on this. First off, we had trouts. I mean, when you are a coach or when you're involved in anything with kids, it's difficult. Like there's a lot of good, but it's still difficult. But when you have to cut kids and because you have tryouts and that is the worst feeling on the planet. Now I've been doing it long enough to where it's like, it is what it is. You know what you have to do, and you just got to get it. Just get it done. Just rip the Band-Aid off and let's go. Mm-hmm. But it still just sucks. And I don't think parents, if you haven't ever had to be involved in something like that, you really, really, really don't understand what it's like. I mean, it's hard because I don't lose sleep anymore, which is probably a good, bad thing. I don't know if it's good or if it's bad. But we literally spent probably 10 hours just combing over names of kids and where do they fit, how do they fit, it just then you have have all these numbers and you have all this data that we've collected over the 2-3 weeks, and I mean it's just wild how much effort you have to put into just that decision. Then so the day before we had our season officially started. So I struggle real bad with plantar fasciitis, especially in the middle of the season, when I'm on my feet, 10, 12 hours a day. And then I also have bone spurs on my heel. So when I went to the podiatrist last year before the season started, he was like, you got to go get pedicures. He was like, or you got to find someone that's a masseuse that specializes in feet. Because the muscles and the tendons in your feet are just killing you. And so we went probably a month ago and we just went to one of these local places up here because the wife was like, hey, let's go out on a date. Let's go get pedicures. I'm like, all right. My feet had been killing me because I was like, okay, let's go. Mm-hmm. Well, we went, and my feet didn't hurt for the first time in like 3 years. The next day,
You're
now,
sold.
During the process, it's awful.
Yeah.
Because they're releasing all the tension in those tendons, and they're rubbing all kinds of weird cucumbers and carrots and whatever it is that they're putting in that water. And so this time, the lady, like, I had my feet propped up like this on where my toes are sitting straight up. For those of you who are not watching, sitting straight up like this, and she's rubbing like right in the center of the sole of my foot because I have high arches, and she rubs right on that tendon, and it pops all the way from like there all the way up to my up into my calf, and I felt it. Like it didn't hurt, but it's releasing that tension. And I rub my own feet pretty regularly, but it's just something different when they can like drive their thumbs. And I'm just like, oh, it caught her off guard. And she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Just so then I kind of explained to her what was going on, and she was like, "Wow, there's a lot going on going on there." But the first lady we had, she didn't speak any English, but this lady did. So I told my wife, I was like, "We need to find out who she is, and we need to come back to that because like my feet don't hurt near as bad, but I did break down and buy some very expensive tennis shoes. I bought some Hoka's. Yeah, $190-something, whatever. Then I have to have $40 insoles, so they're like $210 worth of shoes on my feet.
Just for your feet.
Just for my feet. And then I wear these recovery sandals. Actually, I'm not going to put my feet on the camera, but I wear recovery sandals when I'm not wearing tennis shoes. Yeah, it's definitely
that's
not
different.
That.
That's a different one.
That's the pod after dark or whatever. Yeah. But I wear recovery shoes whenever I don't have those on. So they're called oofs or something like that. But they're fantastic. But now my feet don't hurt, so that's good.
I've had one time. And when they do the cheese grater thing on your heel?
Yep.
Yeah, they had charged me extra for that.
They get the grinder out.
Yeah, basically. Had to get the angle grinder out. So I haven't been back. Also, it's before we went on vacation 2 years ago. That's when we had it done. My wife was getting hers done, so we went together. And it was a beach vacation, and I got blisters for the first time ever. Like, I wasn't walking a whole lot.
Yeah.
We sit a lot on depending on the type of vacation. On beach vacations, we sit a lot, but I walked just a little bit up and down the beach.
Yeah.
And callus off. I know, it took all my callus off. I'm not doing that again.
Yeah, I take very, very, very good care of my feet. Like more than the average male, definitely. But I just can't not, because if I don't take care of them, they hurt, and I don't want my feet to hurt because it's just uncontrollable. It's unbearable. Yeah. Like I can't stand for.
And you got to be on your feet. You got to move.
I don't have a choice. Well, and even if I wasn't a coach, even just like walking, like just stopping for the day is difficult. So I'm glad that I found something, but man, it's kind of expensive. It's
one of them things.
Like $100. Like, but then I'm like, it's kind of worth. It's kind of worth it. I'm at a phase of life where I'm like, I could spend $100 on that. Yeah, it's okay,
especially if it works.
Yeah, and I don't like. I'm serious. Like I feel 100 times better. Like it was. What day is it today? Sunday. It was Tuesday, and I still feel relief from it. Now, Wednesday, the day after, it's super, super sore. But then I'm good to go. Before we talk Cowboys, Ranger trade deadline passed. Didn't add any depth in hitting, but we added 2 reliever arms and then a starting pitcher that actually beat us in the World Series from the Arizona Diamondbacks. So they're playing right now. So they were down 5-3 when I got out of the truck. So we'll see. DeGrom was pitching today.
You can do some in pod updates.
But yeah, I'm excited. I hope they can keep up the run. They need to win they need to split this series with the Mariners. It's a 4-game series, and they were down 2-1 going into today. Still 4 back from the Astros, 3.5 back for the Mariners behind the Astros. I hate the Astros. I hate them with all of my heart. Not just sports hate, but just all of it. I hate them regularly. In fact, I texted some friends today, and I was like, because there was a bench clearing like thing because they were accusing Boston Red Sox of sign stealing. And I'm like, guys, come on now. But apparently it was just a pitcher being upset, and it kind of going on, but
Yeah.
5-4.
Yeah, we come back. 3-6.
So did you watch the Hall of Fame game?
Did not. We were on the boat Thursday night.
Yeah. We ended up going down to Fedora that day. So
it's 2 or 3 times you've been?
to that restaurant, that's the second time we
Wow.
went. This time, though,
We haven't tried it yet.
had a good experience. It was a bad experience to start,
Yeah.
but it ended well. We got there, and they have like the pre-register. Well, the lady that was in front of us, if you don't know, this is a place on the harbor in Rockwall, Texas. It's kind of like a glorified Tex-Mex, I guess you would say.
Multiple locations too.
Yeah,
Dallas,
and across Dallas. And it's kind of like, I don't know. It's good food. It's good Spanish, Mexican food, Tex-Mex-ish kind of. But we get there, and it's a pretty busy. This is a date night place.
kind of like a Gloria's.
Kind of like a Gloria's, kind of like a, what's the other place that's right over there in Rockwall on 30? I can't think of it, but it's a date night place. It's not like a place where you're going to see a whole bunch of families. It's usually couples, work events, that type of place. So we get there, and I checked in, and they're like, oh, your table's ready. Well, we're parking, and it's coming in, so you have 5 minutes to get from the parking lot to the check-in lady. And the lady in front of us is upset because they took her off the list because she's the only person there of her party at 12.
Yeah.
I'm like, you didn't read, obviously.
That's the rules.
So I'm frustrated with this lady. Well, then I get the text like, you've passed your time limit. And I'm like, I'm standing right here. Like, I'm standing right here. So anyways, we have to wait like 3, 4, 5 minutes, not very long, before we go sit down. We go sit down, and it's just me and the wife. We're kind of we're not really paying attention, but like, we're eating the hot sauce. I'm like, man, it's kind of hot. Hey, wait, we don't have any drinks. We don't have any silverware. There's no water, nothing. So like a little time passes. I didn't think it was anything. Again, it's just the two of us. So we're just talking, chatting. And the guy with the water was like, hey, I kind of flagged him down. I'm like, hey, could you give us some water? We haven't seen our waiter yet. And just let him know we're here. It was semi-busy. And he was like kind of caught off guard. I was super polite. I said it just like that. And he was like, okay, sure, yeah. Well, then he leaves, goes off to behind us, and then the manager comes over. And she is like apologizing up and down, like, I'm so sorry this has happened. We'll comp your drinks, we'll comp your appetizers. And I was like, well, you don't, like, I seriously was like, you don't have to do that. Like, we haven't been here that long. She's like, nope, just trust me.
Yeah.
And she was like, nobody's been fired yet. I was like, oh, well.
Jeez.
Oh, and like, we were just enjoying each other's company. We weren't trying to be difficult. So we get our appetizers, and the other manager brings our drinks. And just like, are you guys ready to order? So when we go there, we split the queso. It's like a loaded queso. And then we split like the kind of like the fajitas on these lava things that they have. I don't know. It's hard to explain. And I was like, yeah, that's what we want. And we're just going to split it. He was like, okay, perfect. We'll comp that. I'm like, okay, well, I wasn't going to argue. I was like, okay, well, thank you. You don't have to do that. So we finished our food, and I was like, the general manager lady comes back over, and she's like, I'm so apologizing again. And I was like, all right, we're good. We'll just take our ticket whenever you're ready. She was like, well, y'all didn't order? I was like, yeah, but this is what we always do when we come here. And she's like, okay. And so she brings our ticket, and it was like $20. And it should have been more like $80 to $90. And I look at her, I'm like, you don't have to do this.
Yeah.
Like, she was like, no, it needs to be done. And I was like, so I looked at the wife, and the wife goes, man, there must have been something else going on.
Right.
Because we didn't cause a stir. Like, it was just a bizarre. It was a bizarre.
You kind of went over the top to make it right.
Yeah. And I was like, definitely wasn't asking for that,
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just really weird because I was kind of like,
I do appreciate it, though.
I was kind of caught off guard, honestly.
I do appreciate it when the restaurant takes notice of that. Like, I've never asked for anything. We have a restaurant here in town that has since closed, and it's finally going to be something new.
Ugh,
that one was horrible.
It was awful.
Well, every time we tried, and because it was like a different type of restaurant, and it was in our hometown, which we don't have a ton of restaurants, we gave it a lot of chances. The last time, every single thing that could have been bad was bad. Like, the food was bad.
It was frozen when we had it.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that ours wasn't, but like, I'll give you an example. my wife ordered like a turkey club sandwich. Like which restaurant? Like you expect when you order a turkey club sandwich it to be like a restaurant style.
Yeah.
This was literally, I could have made it in my kitchen. It was like straight up like white bread out of the loaf. Okay. And for some reason there was ketchup on it, which odd. Definitely.
I'm not going to bash mustard or ketchup anymore. Caught lots of hate for that.
Definitely didn't ask for that. And then like a couple like out of the package deli slices of turkey. Like literally my kid could have made the sandwich. Like you just expect a little more for like a $18 sandwich at a restaurant. You know what I mean? You know, like maybe I'm crazy.
No, that's perfectly
so
acceptable.
That's one example. Like mine was horrible. There were some people and like it took literally 3 hours just from getting there to getting out the door. Like even just like when it came time to pay and like and we didn't ask for anything for free, you know, but that would have been a time when I could have done it. So I will say I do appreciate when the restaurant acknowledges and they offer it. Because I'm generally not going to be like, y'all, I'm not paying for this. I'm not going to tell somebody I'm not going to pay for something.
Right.
You know, I'm just not going to do that.
Right.
Whatever. Some people feel different about that. But if there was ever a time for someone to be like, yeah, you're not paying for this, that would have been the time. And they didn't do that and they closed their doors, which you never want. But Rangers 3 up and 3 down. So we're middle of the 7th. I like how we're giving live baseball updates on the podcast. It's going to like
record later.
Well, it's recording now, but post later. Hey, but if you don't know, now you
didn't know. When we post it in 3 days.
You're gonna know about this Rangers game that happened on Sunday.
Yeah, but the thing about that place is the vibes were really cool. I really liked the vibes. However,
they had a live music spot,
and it was great. But the problem is whoever designed it did not take into account that it's really only nice outside to sit outside and want to eat maybe like a month and a half, 2 months out of the year.
Yeah, for the listeners, there was nothing indoor. They had like a patio-ish space that was sort of closed in, but it was still open air.
Right, you could get away from the rain and the elements, but not the heat or the cold.
And they had like fans in there. And they
not enough.
Not enough. And then they had these heaters. We were actually there in the wintertime. Like it was cold, but they'd have those like long bar heaters up on the ceiling.
Everything. On that 40-foot ceiling? Did that ever?
Yeah, right. You know, that's what I mean. Like, what's that going to do? It was a really cool like spot. The only thing wrong with the building is that they should have had some indoor seating. This is Texas.
Well, like you couldn't sit. We went, it was probably like May. So it's not super hot.
Yeah.
It was just unbearable because the sun, well, then also like the way that the seating was arranged is the west sun beat down right on you. Yes. So even if you were under their little covered and there was all the fans, like you're still sitting in the direct sun.
You could walk into this place and within 5 minutes diagnose 10 things they needed to fix.
Yeah, easy.
Like, and I don't know anything about the previous owners, but it really strikes me as somebody who's like, hey, let's have a restaurant.
100%.
Who's never done it before.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, that is not, people don't understand how difficult it is to have a restaurant. A lot of people don't anyway.
I know a guy that does know how difficult it is.
Yeah. But it just strikes me as that type of vibe. Like they were like, oh man, it'd be cool. Let's have a restaurant right here downtown. This is what we're going to do is be open air. We're going to have a spot for a live band. Our food's going to stink. Our service is going to stink. And we're never going to be there to make sure it's right.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
They shut down for like 6 months.
Yeah.
They said it was going to be a menu rebranding.
Yeah.
But it took them 6 months to open. And then when they did open back up, we went and tried them again. We're like, hey, maybe they fixed all their issues. And that was the time that it was so horrible. And then a few weeks after that, they were shut down for good.
And then like the city hasn't done much. Now they have. But at that time, the parking was awful too.
Right.
Because they didn't have that between the two railroad tracks. Mm-hmm. And the city was in the process of doing some updating and stuff like that. But
it's the same way in all these towns. A lot of our towns, like where we live, it's very, very close proximity between a state highway, an interstate, and a railroad. And a lot of the towns are situated on where the state highway and the railroad is, like the historic downtown part. Mm-hmm. All of the towns right along this area are situated where the state highway and railroad run close together. And like they all have parking issues as when the business comes in. Right. And they've all had to like find ways and places to put parking to make it work. And thankfully they started to do some of that.
Yeah. And our city in particular that we live in is doing a better job over the last 5 years since COVID to try to address some of the issues. And they're moving some things out of like the town downtown square area. I guess it's just a street. It's not really a square, but they're moving some of that stuff out. But the problem is anytime that they have to shut something down, like for example, they want to have like this main street. We talked about this a couple weeks ago in person, not on the podcast, but like our town has always had like this, it's called a fun fest is what it's called, but it's always in October. Well, they're having to move it from the main street, which is going to take money away from the main businesses, be due to the construction on the big interstate in our town. Yeah, because they're not allowed to shut that street down for a significant amount of time, because if something happens on the main highway, they have to have a different way to get through. So they're having to move it, and this caused a lot of the local businesses to be really upset because that's part of their like end of year sales, which I get, but that's not on the city. Yeah. It's on the state. Yeah. And can we talk about construction just for a second? I know it's so bad, Clint. Like the other day, we're driving to Rockwall, and I'm looking across, and none of it makes sense. Like none of the construction makes any sense at all. And it's like, could we have gotten all the Aggies in the world and just put them all in one room and said, how can we totally mess with everyone involved? And then we can sit over here on our high, mighty ivory tower and just laugh at them as they're trying to get through here.
The worst one is the road in front of our high school. It was supposed to be done before school started last year.
2 years ago.
It was supposed to be done before school started last year.
Right, but they were supposed to have that one direction done 2 years ago, and then last year they were supposed to have the opposite direction done.
Right. Now they have the one direction done.
Barely.
But like, we're starting a whole other school year. And that was the thing. It was like, hey, you're going to have to put up with this for the school year, but they're going to finish it over the summer. And by the time school starts last year, it's going to be done. Yeah, no. That one has been, I don't understand that, because they're also coming across the lake. And that project has moved faster than redoing a road on flat ground. How?
I can't explain it.
These guys are building an interstate across the lake with piers and everything,
and it's not a small bridge. I mean, it's going to add an additional 6 lanes to the interstate, to the freeway.
Think each side is 2 miles.
Yeah. I don't know.
They're able to do that faster than you can build a road on some flat ground.
Well, and the district has built 2 schools since this road has been completed. Like that elementary in the subdivision we're in, and then the elementary down the road on 66 is going to be opening up this year.
Well, no one ours did,
and y'all's too. So they've been 3.
This will be 3, and the amount of time you've taken you to do one side of a road. Like, just fire them. Can you not?
I don't know, and that may have been something that happened.
No, it's the same people.
Is it? I don't know.
There have been so many times. This is how long this has gone on. My daughter's about to be a senior. I can remember picking her up from school. So before she was driving, and this thing was going on, her sophomore year. Yeah, 2 years ago. And
well, they originally said when the Buc-ee's opened is when it would be done.
No.
And Buc-ee's has been open 3 years
at least.
At least,
yeah. And I'd see these guys like literally just like the meme you see with it's like 14 guys standing around a hole and one guy's in the middle digging. Like I literally saw that 6 or 7 times.
Yeah.
Picking her up from school.
Well, and then the one right there in front of at 548 and 30. It feels like that's been going on for forever. Yeah. But I don't know. It's just small town. Like we're no longer a small town, but the problem is I don't know. I just don't understand why they can't do sections at a time. Like, why can't they go from Rockwall to Roy City? They're going to finish this mile. It's going to take us 2 years. We're going to do both sides of the highway. Then this mile, and then this mile. And I guess it just doesn't work out that way. I don't know, but it seems like a simple solution. But yesterday we were driving down 30, and because we got a little bit of rain, it kind of washed out a little bit of the gravel. And this truck, both of its back wheels went off the highway. Now, fortunately, everybody was driving like 45, 50. And then he overcorrected, of course, and then that trailer came back, and there was nobody behind him or beside him, thank God, because he would have clipped him.
I just don't know why they have to work on every single road at the same time also. Like, just say no to a project. Be like, listen, every single road is under construction. We got to pause. So, like, there was one road in our whole town not under construction. It was the one that goes to our Walmart. And now, what are they doing? When I saw that on Facebook, because I just thought to myself, like 2 weeks before that, I'd be like, well, such and such road is the only one not under construction. That's on Facebook. So, we're actually going to be widening and adding a turning lane. I was like, oh my gosh, guys, just
But that's
wait.
moving quickly.
It is.
Like, have you noticed? Like, all they had to do was
hire
remove
those
that.
guys to go
Because
finish.
it seems like they fixed that median and that turn in right there by the Circle K quicker than they've done everything in front of the high school.
Yeah, everything.
It's dumb.
We sound like a couple old men complaining.
Oh, we are kind of old.
Get off my lawn.
Okay, now let's complain about the Cowboys.
Man, I tell you what.
By the way, the Twitch asked if you were manifesting by the jersey you have on.
I'm just supporting him because here's my thing. At this point, I think I lean more towards keeping him. We're talking about Micah Parsons, number 11, Dallas Cowboys, edge rusher. Because
Arguably the best one in the league.
I feel like the value was last year at the end of the season. Right?
Yeah,
that's where the value was. So now it's like, just pay the dude. I don't know, man. But if you're asking me, if you're making me make a choice between Micah Parsons and Jerry Jones, I'm wearing my Micah Parsons jersey.
I mean, Micah Parsons is 25 years old, so he is not in the prime of his career yet.
Not for that position.
Not for that position. I mean, he's still got a solid 6 to 8 years left.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's so important for us.
We
don't have an offense that's going to be gangbusters, so you got to have a defense that's going to do something.
Yeah, at least you got to have one edge rusher because we don't have DeMarcus Lawrence anymore, which that's neither here nor there, kind of, sort of, at the end of last year. So I want to take my Cowboys hat off for just a moment. And like on the business side, and I know that I'm not involved in a normal business more like you are, but he signed a contract. That's what Jerry's saying, by the way. That's what he came out and said yesterday or today. Like, he signed a contract. He's not going anywhere. And now with the new CBA, he really can't go anywhere. Like, if he doesn't play, he gets fined. And I think he may be getting up some fines right now.
For not being at training camp?
Well, he's there, but he's not participating.
Yeah.
Oh, dang, I just thought about that. I have our cigar thing. I bought one. I
cool.
forgot at the house. Dang it.
Well, I don't know, man. But and the thing is, like, if he doesn't play or if he mails it in this season, that's going to affect his value for next year if he does go somewhere else. So he's got to play. He's got to come out and just do it. But
so one of the things when I get into the season and I'm at lunch or whatever and I'm looking at sports, I try to look at like the contractual obligations of the season. I mean, I haven't been able to do that lately just because I have been too busy. But I was wondering, like, what does it look like going forward as far as like, yeah, this isn't going to run right now. What does it look like going forward as far as like, not just Parsons, but like Dak? I mean, but this is what happens when you pay Dak, CD, Stephon Diggs. Those are just three names that come to the top of my head. Like, when you pay those guys, they have to jump through hoops in order to get Micah his money. And a couple of other things to go with this. This is how Jerry's always done business. I said it last week on the pod, like, Jerry believes in the art of deadlines make deals. Right or wrong. I just feel like that's how he's always done business.
mm-hmm.
And so Micah's got to know. I mean, I don't think he's dumb by any means. I think he's very extremely intelligent with all the business deals that he's made. He's just got to know that's what he's dealing with. I mean, and this is the Cowboys, and they are, whether you are a Cowboy fan or not, whether you hate the Cowboys or not, they're the most valuable brand on the planet.
Yeah.
And so,
and that's not,
you're not going to get a bigger platform than what you have right now.
That's not subjective either. I mean, I feel like it's two different things, though. I will push back a little bit on that. They are the most valuable sports franchise in the world than any other soccer franchise, anything. They are the most valuable single sports franchise in the world. But in the world of football, Like I think there are bigger platforms out there.
Okay.
Like Cowboys are the most valuable. Everybody knows you if you play for the Cowboys. But when you're not there after the first week in January, year after year after year after year after year, like that's when all the games, you think about all the games that are on national television are the playoffs.
Right.
That's when all the games are on national television. That's when, start making more world news. So I don't know. I think there are bigger platforms than the teams that win and win consistently. I think as little as this is going to make sense, we're hashing this out on the pod. I think someone that's outside of the NFL, outside of someone who watches NFL often, could probably name more Dallas Cowboys than Kansas City Chiefs. But I feel like the Chiefs are a bigger platform because they're there and they're national more often.
The national average for the last 10 years of national games played for other teams, not the Cowboys. Would you like to guess in 10 years?
Like the percentage of games they played that were national?
Or just a number? So the Cowboys have played 74 nationally televised games.
Mm-hmm.
The average of the last 10 years is 47.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of throws that argument out the window, right?
No, but that's all regular season games. They play a
Right.
ton of regular season games. They play a ton of Sunday night football, a lot of Sunday night football. But I mean, who's watching those versus who's watching all the playoffs?
Right.
And I don't know if you tell me Sunday night football viewership is higher than the wild card divisional and conference championship games, then I'll be wrong about that too. But I don't think it is.
Just off the cuff, without really doing a ton of research on that, I would guess no.
Right.
But Micah Parsons' podcast is not going to be popular if he's the outside rushing linebacker from the Oakland Raiders.
Oh, for sure.
He's not going to have the platform that he has now if he leaves. The moment he signs with someone else, he's no longer a Cowboy.
I mean, it's like just apples and apples, right? Try to compare Micah Parsons to Max Crosby.
Right.
Okay. Definitely Micah Parsons has the bigger brand.
Correct.
100%.
So I just think that, I don't know. I like him as a player because I want to keep him. But
retired now, but even just to bring the Chiefs into the conversation, not an edge rusher, but still defensive tackle is Chris Jones.
Right.
Micah Parsons definitely has a bigger platform than Chris Jones. So I don't know.
It's just hard because it's like,
maybe it's my just distaste for Jerry Jones, like kind of like wanting and wishing for the chickens to come home to roost eventually. Like I just hate how he's stringing this along. Like to him, he's doing exactly what he should do. He's making more money than any other NFL owner for this team.
and more importantly, what is every single sports network talking about?
Right.
The Star.
Yes.
So,
and they're talking about Jerry and his comments about Micah.
and Micah is talking about Jerry.
He knows how to fuel the fire.
So what if this is a Trump situation? What if this is a 4D chess where Jerry pulled Micah in about a month ago and was like, look, here's what's going to happen. We're going to sign this deal, okay? But we're going to argue with each other.
We're going to get some marketing.
We're going to get some marketing out of this. We're going to make a lot of money. Your podcast is going to make all the sales. You can say almost anything you want.
Yeah.
You can say that you've requested a trade. We're not going to trade you. We know we're having a gentleman's agreement here.
Gosh,
But what if that's the case?
I give that a more likely than not chance of being the case. Just knowing who we're dealing with.
When we come out, we got 4 preseason games, right? Or is it 3?
4.
4 on the third after the third preseason
They
game.
They have. I will tell you this. You are right. I'm giving this a more than 50% chance that you're right. More likely than not, you are right. And I will tell you that if that's the case, they have the date decided,
100%.
decided that they're going to announce they have a deal. And it's going to be a big day.
It's going to be a great day to be a Cowboy.
No, I mean, it's going to be a day where they can steal the whole news cycle.
Exactly.
And because it's Jerry, it could be a day that somebody else is going to have something. Like, didn't he? Gosh.
He's done that a couple of times. I can't off the top of my head.
Wasn't it whenever Wasn't something announced the day that Belichick was announced as a UNC coach? Didn't Jerry come out with something on that day and steal that?
It doesn't ring a bell, but that doesn't shock me.
It was something similar. It was some other big announcement, and then Jerry comes out and says something and steals the whole news cycle.
Yeah.
That guy. I still don't like him.
To me, it's on brand with what the Cowboys do. I mean,
That's how baseball go.
That's how baseball go. How's the baseball going?
Still 5-4.
Okay.
Bottom of the 8th now. 1 out.
But
we're at Seattle, so it's Mariners are batting.
I don't know. I feel like it's now that you don't have Dak in the news as much and we don't have Zeke anymore, all we have left is you've already signed CD. So
that's a
CD's
question. Who's the troublemaker on the Cowboys?
Right now it's Micah, according to the press. I don't think he's that guy though.
No, he's not. He's outspoken,
but he's not a troublemaker.
He's got a podcast and he'll say stuff, but he's not. He's not Tank Jones.
No, he's not.
Even Zeke.
No, and I just think too, like there was very little. Like the biggest thing that they could come up with, the national media was like the running back Blue was like he was kind of lazy. There was a coach that was poor and he was lazy. Well, like, that's not news.
Yeah.
Well, then all of a sudden the PR was like, hey, we're kind of falling back in the ratings.
I do hope that Jaden Blue has a good season.
Me too.
I liked watching him play for Texas. I hope he has a good season.
I agree. I want him to have a great season because if he has a good season, then that means we're winning football games.
Right.
So, Deep Ellum. For those that are not in the Metroplex, Deep Ellum is like the nightlife of downtown Dallas, has decided to set a curfew for weekends at 10 o'clock. So if you don't know what that is, like Deep Ellum is kind of like the club, Bishop artsy kind of area to prevent crime and to clean up the streets.
I just saw they were closing the streets at 10.
Yep.
They're not closing everything at 10.
I don't know.
No, I think it's
like they can't close the bars and stuff, but
no, they're shutting the streets down to keep you from driving.
Okay. So kind of like what happened in New Orleans and 6th Street?
Yeah, well, they opened 6th Street back up. It doesn't close anymore.
Huh.
In Austin. Yeah. They put up these little temporary fence things on the sidewalks, but it's open now. It doesn't even close on the weekends, which I think is crazy.
That's crazy. There's a lot of people down there.
But Broadway in Nashville doesn't close. Trying to think.
Bourbon Street in New Orleans does.
Yeah.
I just think so it's going to be more like the streets of New York, basically.
Yeah.
And then they're going to shut the streets down. I just think that it's going to be something that has been necessary. I don't know if do y'all go down there very often? We've been down there a handful of times over the last decade.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of cars that go in and out of that place. No, I'm talking about Deep Ellum.
Oh, Deep Ellum. Yeah.
So it's like, it's just kind of
there's a cool
necessary, I think.
We like jazz music, and I like jazz music, and I think my wife just tolerates it. But I played in jazz band.
I know.
High school and college.
I was going to ask you, we haven't even talked about that. You realize that?
No.
We haven't
we got a whole season for that.
Yeah.
But there's a cool club down in Deep Ellum called Free Man.
Yep.
And it's a good jazz club. So that's a fun one to go to.
Can you smoke cigars in there?
Probably.
Oh.
Well, no. Dallas has rules about.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
They were the first ones to have the bar no smoking rules.
Yeah.
So probably not. I haven't tried.
PBS is winding down its operation after federal cuts from Donald Trump.
Yeah. Good.
This fall, we're going to talk about a couple of other woke things that are coming up and kind of rearing their ugly head in some cases. But it's just like, what did they expect? Like when you start messing with certain things, the people just don't pay attention anymore. Like they're not, and a lot of times, like people who are in our shoes right here, like mine, or I'll speak for myself. Like when I start seeing stuff that I don't want my kids to do, I don't really cause a big stir about it. I'm not going to post about it on Facebook. I'm not going to write my congressman. You know what I'm going to do? Like, hey guys, we're not watching that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to move on.
Yep.
One of the things that I like about Dude Perfect is they have their own app. It's on the Roku store. So and it's safe. It's child safe. They have like a whole process that you have to go through to sign up for it. And they advertise that it's safe for kids. And now, they annoy me sometimes because like all I hear is yelling and screaming from my son's room, but he loves it. He loves watching it at sports. They do gaming, all the stuff, but I know that it's safe. But when they started doing this stuff with like Sesame Street and all the cartoons started becoming more and more leaning too far left, and you're going against what most parents want, then you're going to start to see a fall off in viewership.
Here's the thing. Here's a lesson in, like we've said 100 times on the pod, capitalism is not perfect, but it is a great system, and it is our system. The big thing, the big worry, and the protest and everything were Trump's going to kill Big Bird. You know? I want Sesame Street. There's all this thing about Trump's killing Sesame Street. No. PBS went away. Sesame Street lives on. Got picked up by Netflix, a private company with private dollars, with advertisers.
And it's much better.
So now we still get Sesame Street for all of you people saying that Trump was going to kill Big Bird, and the government doesn't have to pay for it. Great. Like,
right.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, and it'll just be interesting to see because NPR is going away too.
Yeah,
and so I posted on the social.
But those shows will still go somewhere.
They'll go somewhere if they're profitable,
right? If
they can make any money.
That's right.
And like, oh gosh, who's the guy that writes all the Civil War stuff? He just did a fantastic piece on PBS. Ken Burns was talking about. He was on the Rogan podcast not too long ago. He was talking about how he just really enjoyed doing, working for NPR, working for PBS, because he had autonomy to do what he wanted, and it didn't matter. There was no deadline. Like he could work on it for 10 to 12 years, and he would be able to do whatever he wanted. Well, like I promise you, Ken Burns will end up somewhere.
Yeah,
like his stuff is good,
right?
And they'll give him autonomy. They'll give him freedom to do whatever he wants as long as it falls within certain guidelines. I mean, there will be a guideline, just like with PBS.
Here's the thing. There's a cool new thing like that is really sweeping the nation and has been for several years now. It's called podcast. And you know what? Those shows on NPR that were good can turn into a podcast, still have advertisers.
Yep.
Still be profitable if they're good, because if people listen to them, then they're going to get advertisers. The advertisers are going to foot the bill for the show instead of the federal government, instead of tax dollars, like you and I, footing the bill for something like that. Like that's the way it's meant to be. But like if it's not, like here's something that kind of shocked me is we talked a lot about this during the election, but 538 Politics. That podcast is gone as of March.
Yep.
And that was part of a bigger thing that ABC was doing, but it really just wasn't. I mean, I listen to it, but I'm a political nerd, and honestly, like political nerds aren't enough to keep a podcast alive, so they had to shutter it and basically let everybody go on that podcast, but they made that decision, in accordance with a lot of other of their media to do kind of a restructuring. And that's just the way it should be. Like, I enjoyed listening to it. I wish it was still there, but I can't come out and complain.
You're right.
Like, apparently not enough other people did.
They'll find.
But those people who are on it will go other places and do other things. Well, it did lean super left.
The one thing that I did like, that I watched Tiny Desk concerts. Did you ever watch that?
Yeah.
And I mean, that was put on by NPR. But it just, I'm with you. They'll find the void will filled with something else,
right?
Someone else. Okay. On to the tsunami from the earthquake that happened just outside of Russia. The tsunami waves that were supposed to hit Hawaii, and then on to the West Coast. So I have a teaching friend that has a family in American Samoa. So that was going on. So I happened to see him in the school building the other day. I was like, "Hey, is everything good?" He was like, "Yeah." He was like, "It was a little tense there. The ocean did recede." He was like, "But it just kind of was like a low tide at high tide." And he said, "So when that typically happens, you'll see some big waves." And he said, "We saw big waves, but nothing that was catastrophic." He said it damaged a few houses that are right there on the beach, but he said nothing that a big storm wouldn't do. Same for Hawaii. I don't know if you saw the videos of that. but the sirens that go around, the thing that I worry about, and the thing that kind of is relevant to like the flooding that has happened down in central Texas in the hill country, and the same thing that happens here when the tornado sirens go off, is the boy that cried wolf, right? And not to lay that the situation in the hill country was this way, but they're going to put sirens down there. They're going to make all these things, and now we get flash flood warnings if it's just going to be a little storm. Like, I don't know if you paid attention at all to the weather the last couple of days. We've had some heavy rain, but nothing that's going to cause massive flash flooding. So they're just putting those out as like a early warning, so indicator. Which, I mean, considering all that's happened, I get it. But like, when will one of these things happen? And nobody really pays attention, because the last 2 or 3 times that we've had tsunami warnings like this,
right,
nothing
really happens.
Yeah.
Did you see the MSNBC people blaming the earthquake on climate change?
No, but that doesn't shock me.
Like, how the heck, man? Like, okay, I don't agree with you about greenhouse gases and things like that, but that's just me personally. But we as humans caused the earthquake.
I don't know. We caused the tectonic plates to move.
An 8.8 magnitude earthquake.
Yeah.
Off the coast of Japan.
I'm surprised that Trump didn't get blamed for it somehow.
Probably.
I kept waiting for it. I never really saw it, but
yeah, Doge. It's the reason we had there. It's just so dumb.
Yeah,
Bill Maher came back. He always takes July off, like most of July. It's kind of his summer break, end of June to end of July, and so he's been back for a couple episodes. And he did this whole long segment. It's like 20 minutes long. I almost clipped it to play it, but it's so long. And he's on HBO, and it's Bill Maher, so there's a lot of profanity too. So it'd be like beeping at every other word. But he did this whole thing about how, like, Democrats, liberals have to be better at deciding what they're going to care about.
Right.
Like, it was really good.
Yeah.
He brought up all these little things. And people that had talked to him, one of them was about the red dye. Did you see that part of the clip?
I didn't.
He said, aren't you just incensed that someone was talking to him that, RFK has basically removed red dye from Fruit Loops, and the Republicans are acting like they've just, saved the world. And he's like, I don't care.
Right.
Like, yay that they did, but like, I just have other things that I'm going to pay attention to. Like, yeah.
I don't really have a response to that, because it is what it is. Like, every time we turn around, with the exception of Epstein so far, and then maybe a couple of minor things, they're all victories.
And I just mean, like, I know politically Democrats can't point to anything Trump's done and say it's good, but what you can do is not point to stuff and say it's bad, like we were joking about Trump getting blamed for the earthquake. Or climate change getting blamed for the earthquake. Like, just don't do that. And I think that's what Bill Maher is basically saying. Like, don't come out and praise the Trump administration or Republicans for doing anything. That's probably much too much to ask.
Or it's just a news cycle.
But at least, like, care about more important stuff.
But if they can't.
They can't.
They can't, because there's nothing to complain about.
They're too deep into it. This is how they operate, and they cannot change that.
That's a great transition into Kamala. It's
Yes.
not on the list, but let's talk about that for a minute. Do you want to play the clip first, or do you want to talk about
I'll set it up. But Kamala wrote a book. Well, someone wrote a book, and I'm not. I don't mean that the way it just sounded. Tons and tons of people use ghostwriters, whatever. But Kamala has a book called 107 Days, which was the amount of time for her campaign. And so she's out doing the shows. And so she's on Colbert, who's, scorched earth since he got canceled. But he's still on till May. I don't think that's going to last. Part of me thinks he doesn't make it till May. I'm not watching his show.
I don't think he makes it through the beginning of the year.
I'm only seeing clips. So I'm not watching his show. So it could be my feed or whatever, like overplaying the hand. But he really is like scorched earth. Like, I think they're eventually going to tell him, like, all right, it's kind of like, say you quit your job and you give a really long notice, like say maybe like a 6-month notice when you quit your job, and You just come in, you're a complete jerk for 6 months. Like, I think your bosses are eventually going to be like a couple of weeks in being like, yeah, you know what? You could just go ahead and
it's time. It's okay to go.
Just go ahead and go.
Yeah.
And they'll either bring in a different host or just go ahead and replace the whole show at that point. I don't think.
I don't know why it came out so early in the first place. Was there a reason why?
What?
That they decided he's going to go up the air in 9 months?
Well, because they're going to do one last season. Like, the season runs to May.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Those talk shows run basically inside the school year.
Gotcha.
So here's the Kamala clip. She's on Colbert.
You're not running for the governor of California.
Correct.
Even though in early polling you beat every other candidate by double digits.
Yeah.
You said, why are you sitting this now? Are you saving yourself for a different office? You're not running for the governor of California.
Correct.
Even though in early polling you beat every other candidate by double digits. Yeah. You said you're going to sit this one out. Why are you sitting this one out? Are you saving yourself for a different office that might be?
No.
Can you pause it? Okay. So basically he says that you're not running for office of governor, even though you're going to beat everybody by double digits.
A lot of people thought that she would run for governor of California.
Okay. Whoever is running her political group, she does not need to run for public office.
Oh, we're going to get to that part. Okay. I have a comment about that.
Okay, go.
Obviously, people project onto their hopes and dreams.
And honestly, that it's more perhaps basic than that. Listen, I am a devout public servant. I have spent my entire career in service of the people.
Not lying.
And
she has
I
been
thought
in
a lot
the government.
about running for governor. I love my state. I love California. I've served as just elected district attorney, attorney general, and senator. But to be very candid with you, when I was a young in my career,
never mind, I'm going to say it. I was going to say, what she wanted to say right there, but she didn't. It's also a line from the movie The Jerk, if you've ever seen that. I was raised a young. Anyway, we'll keep playing it.
I had to defend my decision to become a prosecutor with my family. And one of the points that I made is, why is it then when we think we want to improve a system or change it, that we're always on the outside on bended knee or trying to break down the door? Shouldn't we also be inside the system? And that has been my career. And recently I made the decision that for now, I don't want to go back in the system. I think it's broken. I think there's so much, there are so many good people who are public servants, who do such good work, teachers and firefighters and police officers and nurses and scientists.
Why is she talking about scientists? I don't understand that.
I don't know.
And so it's not about them, but,
It's not about them, though.
I believe...
What?
And I always believed that as fragile as our democracy is, our systems would be strong enough to defend our most fundamental principles.
What?
What in the world is she talking about?
She is not a gifted orator.
No, she's been an attorney for 27 years. Yeah. I didn't realize that until just now when I looked it up.
So she had to defend her choice to go to public service, be a district attorney to her family. I don't know what that means.
What does that mean?
You have to defend your decision. Maybe they wanted to
didn't want you to be.
Maybe they wanted to go private and make more money. But she said she wanted to go in to be in the system because that's how you fix it. Then she says the system's broken. Then she says she doesn't want to be in the system. So the systems, you have to be in the system to fix it. The system is broken, but I'm not going to be in the system anymore.
She's been in the system since 1990.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, she is a public servant. Like, whether you like the service she's provided or not, I don't know. But she has been in government, for her whole career. But here's the thing. VP Harris. Like, you're not in the system anymore because you're rejected in the system. The only chance you have to be back in the system is to be the governor of California. That's the only door that's open to you.
And I don't even know if that's open.
I think should have a good shot at it. I don't know enough about California politics to say whether or not, but from what I heard, there's really nobody else running has any substance. A couple of former Obama cabinet officials, I don't know their names or anything, but like low-level cabinet secretary is one of them. But like the reason you're not running for anything anymore, like, did you see the cheers when he asked, "Are you potentially saving yourself for
right
a higher?" Like, no,
what he's talking about is she going to run in 28?
Right? No,
and it doesn't matter.
The DNC wouldn't let her.
Well, then they'd have to have an open primary.
Yeah,
and they're going to have an open primary this time.
She'd have to win the primary,
and she'd have to win. And so I don't think she would win the open primary.
No.
The second she stepped on that debate stage, just like with Tulsi Gabbard and Hillary Clinton, and I mean, if there had been some debate, she would have faltered. And I got to be honest, I knew she was an attorney. I didn't realize she'd been practicing for 27 years. Mm-hmm. That's a long time, and you can't speak in public.
Yeah.
So what has happened to you? You were a senator starting in 2017.
Yeah, there's a lot of senators that can't communicate.
But my point is you should be able to stand. There's not a ton of senators, though.
Yeah.
Most of them can, especially at her age, should be able to stand in front of a microphone and coherently explain a short point.
Right.
And answer a question.
Right.
I'm not saying they're great debaters. I'm not saying that they can be a masterclass of the camera and the microphone. That's not what I'm saying. But they should be able to at least coherently answer questions.
And what I want to say to that is, like, their positions are so messed up that I thought this a lot during the campaign. I thought to myself, like, the word salad from VP Harris is not her fault per se, as much as it is hers just trying to jump through a bunch of hoops to try to make a point because her positions are so crazy and messed up. Like, it's hard with all the woke stuff to like make it all make sense.
Right.
So you got to jump through a lot of hoops. But now it's like, no, I think it's probably both. Like when you get through the campaign and now hearing kind of what she said since the election day, I'm like, yeah, you're having to jump through hoops to try to make a point that doesn't exist in the real world. It's not logical. It's not rational. But also you're just not very good at communicating it. I mean, Chuck Schumer is a better communicator.
Yes.
Like, did you see whenever Trump announced he's going to build this big ballroom?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Chuck Schumer, like, ran to the microphone to say, oh, look, we did all these Doge cuts, and now we're going to spend $200 billion on this, $200 million on this, this ballroom, basically.
But it's privately funded.
And Trump said, I'll just write the check myself.
Did you see Triple H come out of the White House?
No.
Okay. Oh. I know you're not
who's that?
He's the wrestler. He's the game. And so they did this promo for WWE, and he's coming out, and he did like his Degeneration X, and he blew the water out of his mouth. It was fantastic.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I know you don't.
But even when Chuck Schumer's like 100% wrong and like totally trying to just score some political points, running out to a microphone, saying the Republicans are wasting money building a ballroom on the taxpayer dime, which is completely false. He at least communicates his point.
Yeah, it can be wrong.
At least know what he's talking about.
And I'm trying to think of, like, even though I think Obama has a stain on his legacy. I was going to say something a little bit worse, but that has a stain on his legacy at the moment. I don't really dislike him when he's out talking. Like, I'll listen to him because I feel like, okay, he's a great communicator. Maybe there's something, like, as an aspiring podcaster that I can get from the way he presents himself, from the way he holds himself, from the way he speaks, from certain words that he says. Is there something that I can get from this, right? Because he's a great speaker. Yep. And he uses his words well.
Yeah. Well, he can communicate a point.
Exactly.
He may be wrong. I may not agree with him, but at least I know what he's talking about.
Exactly.
With Kamala Harris, I have no idea what she's talking about.
Never. I have never understood her or the last 4 years of Joe Biden.
Right.
Now, pre-running for election, the time against Trump in 2020, I thought Biden carried himself very well. He was very coherent. You could understand, his points were valid a lot of times, even though I may or may not agree with it.
Mm-hmm. And listen, it's not a Democrat thing. Like we said, Obama communicated well. Bernie communicates very well.
Very well.
Very well. It's not a male-female thing. Even Hillary communicated well.
She still does.
She's not Bill Clinton. Like her husband was like Obama, a great communicator. She's not that level.
Well,
but she still communicates her points, and like I can look at it and be like, I completely disagree with what you're saying, but at least I know what you're saying.
Exactly. Well, I mean, they're just the press secretary currently communicates herself communicates very well. Tulsi Gabbard, even though I was like, this is kind of like, I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but at least I can understand what you're saying.
On the debate stage in the primary, Amy Klobuchar,
exactly,
a Democratic woman, a senator from Minnesota, she communicates very well. You know what she's talking about, what she stands for, and what she wants to do. It has nothing to do with that. She's just not a great communicator, and you can't.
Have you ever worked with someone that's just a liar all the time? They just lie everything that they say. And then like when you try to talk to them about something that is really not that big of a deal, they can't communicate because they don't know what they've said or where the story was. So it's just all a big fat lie. I feel like that's how she is. And her and Tim Walz fall in the same category.
They do.
They've said so many outlandish things.
And they
so
both
many
said in the last 2 weeks they're not running.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like they've said so many things that just come off as incoherent and crazy that they can't remember what lie they told, and I just don't understand.
Was it actually Mark Twain, or was it in the Huck Finn books where he says, "I don't lie because I don't have that good of memory." And it's like, if you're going to be a liar, you got to have a really good memory because you got to remember everything you said to keep up with it. It was either in the Huck Finn books or Mark Twain himself said that.
So the Twitch says to take a fictional world. She's like Governor Ritchie, who gets hung up on his own words. Is that a West Wing reference?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not there yet.
Still in season 1.
Yeah, I'm very busy right now. It's so kind of hard to sit. Like you said, the show is. I've tried to watch it a couple times and then I'll doze off, and I'm trying really hard to pay attention. So I really want to watch it. I'll get some more time in the coming weeks.
The episode I just watched this week, we talked about before about when we were talking about tariffs and trading with China, that you don't shoot at people you're doing business with. That was on this episode. It's towards the end-ish of season 2, and Toby, who's a White House communications director, goes to talk to some protesters that are protesting the WTO. And so he's talking about why world trade is important. And then it's one of the comments he makes is you don't shoot at people it's good because it stops wars. Like you don't shoot at people you're doing business with. So I was like, oh yeah,
still relevant.
Yep.
Yes, the Twitch says most Democrats must be sitting with their hands at home watching Kamala and Tim Walz with their with their hands on their face. Yeah, I just...
No, I mean, they're cheering because they're not going to run.
Well, but...
like, thank you.
I was watching a podcast. I can't remember which one. I wish I could remember so I give them credit. But they were like going through lists of names. And this is a centrist podcast of like names that they would consider, that they thought would be running for office. And they couldn't come up with a single name where it was relevant to what we're talking about.
I think it'll be Newsom. And he's like the only one. I mean, you'd think maybe Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania, but I don't know. But just more of like the not making sense is like calling Sydney Sweeney a Nazi.
Yeah.
I didn't want to talk about that on the pod, but it's kind of like it's a big current event.
Well, I think the problem is it's like when they refer to a world leader as Hitler. Okay? Like anytime you refer to someone as a Nazi, that's a huge indictment on the person's character.
Yes.
And you're assuming that your listeners are dumb. Like it's a Gene commercial.
Yeah.
So it's a play on words.
Yeah.
So like, come on, let's have a little bit of intelligence here. And she's a blonde young lady who's wearing jeans.
Yeah.
And it's like there is absolutely no Nazi symbolism in that at all. Oh, because she's blonde haired and blue eyes, and then you're talking about eugenics. I mean,
right.
So you're either saying your listeners are really, really stupid by referring to her as a Nazi, or your listeners are really, really smart and understand how eugenics works.
Yeah.
Which one is it?
Right.
And so I just hate that kind of stuff. I don't like it when the right does it. I don't like it when the left does it. I don't like it. tongue in cheek say something about like, especially to certain people that I'm really close to. I'm like, oh, you must be a commie because you do, whatever you wear purple shorts or something. But it's like tongue in cheek, and I don't say it real loud because it's like this person knows me really well. But it's like,
what is the flip side of that? What do Republicans do to Democrats? It's the same as that because Republicans get called Nazis and fascists and all kinds of things. But what do Republicans call? Is it just commies? But that's so old.
That's an old thing. That's an old reference.
That's a boomer thing. I'm trying to think if there's something now. I'm trying to think of a current flip side. Because I agree, you can see it on both sides. I just feel like I haven't seen it as much.
I'm liberals.
Yeah, but they are.
Leftists.
They call themselves that.
Socialist.
Yeah.
Woke. Maybe. Coastal elites.
Yeah.
These are kind of snowflakes. I just like the thing is it's an ad campaign that was meant to ruffle feathers, but then also grab the eyes of certain people, right? Young teenage girls want to look like her. I mean, that's what they want. And so American Eagle, I don't know if you looked at American Eagle stock, it rocketed up.
It did, and it's come down. The market's come down a little bit last few days after the job numbers got revised. But I was watching it. They're down a little bit right now, but so is the whole market. So, anytime a stock goes up or down, you have to look at it in reference to the entire market,
right?
Because so many stocks are in funds. Like there's some single stock purchases,
right?
But also a lot of mutual funds and fund type purchases. So yeah, but they did shoot up.
Yeah, I mean the same way that what's the Bud Light person that when their stock went down?
Oh, Dylan McVaney.
Yeah, the same concept here. Like you're playing to Bud Light needs to advertise to a certain group that consists of Kid Rock and Post Malone, right? That's their target audience, and that's okay, right? That's okay. Yeah. Like I'm not expecting a cigar company to advertise to 18-year-old to 21-year-old adults. That's not their clientele. Their clientele is from the ages of 35 to 65. So that's their advertising group. There's nothing wrong with American Eagle advertising to their demographic.
No,
and why that has become such an evil.
American Eagle has also published in previous years several ads that you would consider more woke and very diverse. Like, they're not. Listen, they're marketers, they're advertisers. They're not. They don't care either way, and that's the thing to really realize. A lot of these companies don't. I mean, Jaguar's getting killed
right now. Yeah,
over their rebranding.
It's awful.
They will switch back.
Yes,
they will switch back. They got it wrong.
Well, and I'm not naive enough to think that advertising doesn't go with politics too.
Yeah,
like whichever the political pendulum is swinging, whichever direction, that's the way the advertising is going to go because that's how they see how the public sees it. I can agree with it or disagree with it.
But from the outside looking in, I didn't see this Sydney Sweeney ad as a rebuttal or refuting wokeness.
Me neither.
I didn't see that ad and think, oh, look at them. They're
look
saying,
at them going far right.
Yeah, I know. Do not think that at all. Like I think it's like, I don't know. I think some people are upset that she's pretty. I think that's it.
I mean, I don't. You're not wrong.
Here's some things I've learned about Sydney Sweeney, is that she's not just an actress. Like she's producing and doing lots of things.
And she's an avid gun enthusiast too.
She's a registered Republican.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yes, I did see
that.
They
found that. I wonder how she feels about this.
I don't think she cares. She's making a ton of money.
I hope not.
I don't think she cares one bit.
I hope she's sitting back and laughing at it like we are. I mean, it is her, but it will be interesting to see. Like Hollywood has a conundrum,
right?
Because they want her in their movies,
exactly,
and in their shows,
exactly.
And so now the woke mob because that's what they are, is going to find out how little influence, that's my prediction, that they actually have anymore. Because I think her career is going to go on to be just fine.
It's going to be just, and even if it ends now, it's still been a really good career.
I don't think it's going to end now. I think it's going to go on to be just fine, and the woke people are going to be even more upset. All 12 of them, like 12 or 13 people that showed up outside Colbert's screening to protest. Like, woo.
There's nobody there.
I know.
I mean, and I think that's a bigger faction and maybe even a bigger conversation of like that movement is dying. I mean, in every aspect. I can't remember if it was Bill Maher. I think it was Bill Maher when he's talking to a real far leftist on his show. And I just saw the clip this afternoon. And he's like, when you go to war with parents, you're going to lose the silent war.
Yeah.
Because most parents don't have time. And that's what's kind of talking about with PBS. Like most parents don't have time to go out and protest, but they can protest with their pocketbook. And, you know, Target learned this and is still learning this because they've now tried to rebrand and it's not working because you still see some of that. Like one of the places we went school clothes shopping, we walked through Target and we couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
That just was like fit what we were looking for. Not necessarily good or bad or that it didn't have certain colors that we were looking for. That's not what I'm talking about. But it's like you don't have what my son is looking for, which is sports clothes. And you don't have what my preteen daughter is looking for, which is preteen clothes that aren't, you know, that's age appropriate. So it's like, how am I supposed to shop here?
We were on the opposite end of that. We did shop at Target. So one of my middle daughter has a great style. It does not fit like a lot of just the stylish norms.
Right.
And so we went to old ChatGPT to help us out. And I'm like, listen, like a lot of our younger kids, we shop at Old Navy for them.
Right.
Clothes that fit them. It's great. But I was like, for our middle daughter, I was like, we need to find somewhere that's got a little more that's not Hot Topic at the mall.
Right.
Where can we go that's not hot? Basically, this is our ChatGPT question: is where can we shop that's not Hot Topic, but it'll have clothes that matches and kind of described her style and everything. And like Target came up, and she went and got a bunch of stuff at Target.
Really?
Yeah. And so it's like that was the difference for us. Like I see what you're saying,
right?
You know, but they have a niche. I don't feel like anymore.
But it's a niche for not a broad market.
I also don't feel like they're pushing it like they were 5-6 years ago.
I agree with you.
Like they've kind of said, okay, we're going to have this, we're going to have this, we're going to have this, but we're not just going to like shove this in your face.
Right. Well, and for me, like I'm talking about like for us, like that's the way that we would technically quote unquote protest, right? Because I don't have time to go stand on the corner. I got a job and 3 kids and a life and 3 dogs or however many dogs we have now. And it's like, I don't have time for that. So the way that you see a silent protest is you don't shop there or you don't, and it's not always intentional.
Right.
It is what it is. The numbers will bear itself.
But consumer shopping is up.
It is.
Which is why the GDP is up. You want to play that clip?
Yeah. Let's hop into it.
Oops.
The best GDP announcements or releases that you could imagine because there's blockbuster growth way above expectation, and there's also a real almost collapse in inflation. It went down by about 1.5% all the way down to 2.1%, which is the Fed's target. And so to have high growth with low inflation and also high income growth, personal income growth was 3%. That's just like about a sweet spot for a GDP release. And I will add that all of this happened while $127 billion in tariffs was raised, which is clearly not harming the American consumer. And we've been downsizing government in order to be more fiscally responsible. 70,000 federal jobs have been reduced, and there was a 5% reduction in federal government spending while all this was going on.
So I didn't set it up, but that's Hassett. He's the director of the NEC, National Economic Council, which is part of the administration. So basically the Trump's Economic Advisors Council.
Right. So here's my question. I mean, and I was watching another economist today was talking about there could be a potential of $700 billion in revenue on the positive side before we start to see midterm elections. So the end of his first year, there could potentially be a $700 billion turnaround between federal cuts, between tariffs, and then if the Fed raises the interest rate or lowers the interest rate, you could see an additional revenue basically come about. So Trump would be able to say, not only did I grow GDP, not only did the jobs come back, not only is the economy booming, but we cut the deficit and we have a net positive on income. So the overarching question that I have, which kind of goes back to what has happened over this last week, is the Fed came out and basically said we're going to keep rates the same. So does the Fed need to cut the rate?
Yes.
Can you expand onto why?
Checking one thing, but yes.
Well, my point in asking this question is I understand the role through our podcast. Honestly, I've learned a lot. I understand the role of the Fed is to manage the interest rates to banks and interest rates across the country. I understand that the higher the interest rate, the more we have to pay on interest to the national debt, which is an equivalent of around $300 billion a day, I think is what it equates to ish. I could be wrong on that number, maybe $30 billion. Anyways, we pay billions of dollars in interest daily. And by cutting that would be a profit gain basically for the country.
Yeah, so the rate they're talking about is the Fed funds rate. We've talked about this a little bit on the pod and at different times. Short answer is I think Jerome Powell is now playing politics, and I think they should have cut the rates this past week. You had two of the governors. The FOMC, Federal Open Markets Committee, is made of Federal Reserve governors. Two of them dissented. One of them, Bowman, is a community banker. She's new. I like her a lot because normally on the FOMC and when you have Fed governors, a lot of them are big bank people, like investment banking people. This Bowman, she is a former community banker. So it's cool to have community banking represented on the FOMC. That's just a little sidebar. She and another governor dissented. They said they should have lowered rates. I think Jerome Powell's upset with Trump. I think he's being petty. And I think because his argument for not lowering the Fed funds rate is that we still got to see what the tariffs are going to do. Well, the tariffs are being the tariffs and inflation's coming down. Inflation hit that 2.1%. That is the Fed target. That's where you want inflation to be. That's where the Federal Reserve, federal government, the FRB wants inflation to be at around 2%. So it's there. You've hit your target and you still have tariff revenue, like you said, $127 billion coming in. Like there is no reason to keep rates that high. And I'm not saying put them down to zero like they were before, but they're 4.25% to 4.5% right now. And so just sidebar on what that is, it is set by the FOMC, which is made up of the Fed governors, for what banks can borrow money from other banks from. So banks that are in the Federal Reserve System that have excess reserves can lend to other banks who need money. And what do they need this money for? They need it to go make loans, to make capital, to put capital into the economy. So if a bank needs money on their balance sheet to be able to lend out, they can add Fed funds, is what it's called. Those come from other banks who don't need money. They have reserves. And the rate is the interest rate, basically the borrowing banks pay to the banks who are lending them the money. It's a interbank type transfers that is facilitated by the Federal Reserve. And they set the rate that's going to be, instead of like every bank having its own rate, saying, well, I'll lend it to you for this. Well, I'll cut it and I'll lend it to you this. It's actually set by the FOMC. I think they should have cut rates. It would have taken what is an uptick in the economy and created a boom. Now there's so many moving parts in this. So that's the Fed funds rate. That when rates are lower, businesses can invest more capital because that Fed funds rate is not actually your mortgage interest rate. It's not actually the rate that a commercial business would pay to get a building to build a new warehouse. but it sets the tone for what those rates are going to be. A lot of people, so for example, there is a index rate out there called the Wall Street Journal Prime Rate. It is right in line with the Fed funds rate.
Okay.
So if a bank says, I will make you a loan to build this commercial building for Wall Street Journal Prime +1. So Wall Street Journal Prime right now is 4.25 or 4.5, or it's 3 points above what the Fed funds rate is. So it's actually 7.5, 7.25, 7.5. Then that loan to that business would be 8.25, 8.5.
Right.
One of those, okay, in that range.
Does mortgage rates fall in that same type of category?
Sort of. They're not as affected as commercial lending rates.
Okay.
Commercial lending rates are just almost directly tied to the Fed funds rate because the Wall Street Journal Prime rate is tied to the Fed funds rate.
Okay.
So you're backtracking.
Okay.
From the rate the actual business pays to build their warehouse is usually Wall Street Journal Prime plus a margin. Wall Street Journal Prime is tied to the Fed funds rate. It's 3% higher than the Fed funds rate. So that's more in the commercial lending space, which is what you want. You want businesses to be able to go out and build things and buy things and expand their businesses. So that's how it's tied to what Jerome Powell is saying no to. Mortgage rates, as a sidebar, are tied a little more closely to Treasury rates.
Okay.
Which has to do with government debt.
Right.
So that's one piece of the puzzle. We're talking about GDP being up is at 3% for Q2. GDP is four things, basically. It is, you learn this in economics class in high school. Consumer spending, like we're talking about with Target and other businesses. Businesses investing capital, building those warehouses, buying equipment, things that will expand their business. Government spending, which has been down, okay? And then the difference on your net imports and exports. So imports were super high in Q1 because everyone was fearing the tariffs.
Right.
On, what did he call it? What day? It was like...
In the clip you just played?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Trump called his tariff day. Man, I can't believe I can't remember that. It was like Freedom Day or something like that. So businesses didn't know what was going to happen with that. And so we talked about this. We talked about Apple bringing over plane loads of iPhones and stashing them in the U.S.
Liberation Day,
yes.
April 2nd,
right.
2025.
Right, so right after the end of Q1.
Right.
So in Q1, January, February, March, you have businesses bringing in tons and tons and tons of goods so they don't have to pay those tariffs that are about to take effect in April. So when you have a huge influx of imports, that's going to reduce your gross domestic product,
right? Because
you're going to have a lot more imports than you're having exports,
right?
And exports affect GDP. So for Q1, you had a GDP of negative 0.5%.
Yes.
Versus the swing for Q2, when everything is kind of settled down, of 3% growth, which is really great GDP.
Right.
So you have a really great GDP of 3% growth, which means people are buying stuff, businesses are expanding, your imports and exports are leveling off and being kind of in a range where they need to be. And you have inflation down to 2.1%, right where the Fed wants it. There's no reason for the Fed not to cut rates at that point, which would at this point put an influx of capital, because what that means is that businesses that have been holding off and not expanding, not building that warehouse, not buying that equipment because they're waiting for rates to come down, are still waiting for rates to come down.
Yeah.
They're still sitting on the sidelines saying, well, no, we don't have to have that warehouse. It's going to employ 700 people and it's going to create this additional product. We don't have to have that just yet. We can push that to Q3. We can push that to Q4 of this year, even to next year, because they would spend so much more money in interest on the loan to build that.
Right.
Than if they just wait for them to come down. So that's what Jerome Powell is holding up. That's why it would be a boom to the economy. And if you just lower it by 50 basis points and make it 3.75 to 4, you still have a lot of wiggle room if inflation ticks back up to raise rates again next year to try to keep that in check. I don't think they would need to, but.
I mean, it's crazy to think that during COVID it was zero.
It was zero for a long time.
And so it's like now all of a sudden
it was basically zero
up.
Ever since 2015.
Golly. I guess I didn't realize it'd been that I just don't understand why Jerome Powell is allowed to play politics, I guess is what it boils down to. I just don't understand that. Like,
Chairman of the Federal Reserve.
I know. And I know he was placed there by Trump, which is kind of ironic.
My question is would he made that decision this week if Trump wasn't threatening to fire him every other day?
Probably not.
I don't understand. And a lot of people don't understand why he didn't cut rates. Now, here's the thing to think about. Job numbers came out and they looked really super great. We talked about a few minutes ago, the stock market has gone down the last few days, and that's because on Thursday the revised numbers came out and they weren't as great. Right. Shows pretty stagnant new job creation,
right?
Which is not good either. And so
in the summertime,
big picture thinking of this.
Hold on just a second. Do you watch the job numbers over the year?
Yes.
So do they kind of stagnate during the middle of the summer, preparing for the seasonal jobs that come in at Christmas and the holidays? Does that make sense? So like you're getting out of those summer month seasonal jobs,
usually
right?
Still see growth.
Okay.
But not like what you're talking about as substantial. And it does ebb and flow.
Okay.
But I think big picture, what is happening is the cost of tariffs are affecting, and the cost of funds, which is the interest rate, are the two things that are affecting hiring.
Okay.
Because businesses are still paying more in interest than they really should be. Should have cut rates. And the tariffs are having a cost. And so I think that's why you're seeing fewer people being hired. Plus, AI is a thing.
Right.
And you are finding lots of ways to take entry-level type of jobs and an analysis type of jobs and use AI where you can put more or less a manager type person over that and let the AI bots do their work, where you have one person reviewing that, where you might have had 4 people doing that analysis and one person reviewing it.
Right.
So I'm not saying that AI is coming for all the jobs. That's a whole nother day, and we're getting close on time. But
we haven't talked about that at all, by the way.
Yeah. But that's part of it.
Right.
Right. So I think that's what we're seeing, is that interest rates being higher and tariff cost is being passed more into hiring fewer people and lower job growth than it is in being seen in prices where that consumers are actually paying. Tariffs do not equal inflation, but they do equal a cost.
Right.
And so that cost has to go somewhere.
Okay. It's a great explanation. I struggle to wrap my brain around that, because that's not the way my brain works. So I can't really commentate too much on it, because it's like I don't fully understand the dynamics of it. But that's a great explanation. It makes sense now, but I don't really have like a off point, like a counterpoint to it.
Yeah, it's just there's so much going into it, and politically, people will bring up whatever political point suits their fancy,
right,
to make it say, well, this is happening, so I'm going to bring up this political point that suits my fancy, when honestly, it's a million different things that go into it.
Right.
It's like there's been so much talk about the market. The market's now back to, before the job numbers got revised, it was higher than it was on Inauguration Day. So everybody's like, well, Trump came in and tanked the market. We're like, no, he's been here 6 months now. It's been volatile. We've had the tariff talks and kind of some uncertainty. And like we talked about, the market reacts negatively to any uncertainty.
Right.
Then once they figure out, okay, it's going to be okay, the market comes back. And now the stock market is higher this past week than it was on Inauguration Day. So like, no, we didn't tank the market. It went down. Nobody lost their retirement savings.
Right.
Like we're back.
Right. And at least it's somewhat, and it's only taken 6 months.
Right.
That's kind of crazy too.
Yeah.
It usually takes a little longer than that. In other news, as we start school, you're starting to see the Governor Abbott's bill that he signed about cell phone policies. You're starting to see districts post policies on what they're going to do. I have not seen our local school district post policies. They did. As a parent and a teacher, I don't have any problem with anything that they're doing. None of them that I've seen. There was one down in Central Texas.
Stand up.
Down in Austin. All right, you're good. Down in Austin, that was also going to start fining their teachers for being on their cell phones, like they were going to fine their students. I have a slight problem with that.
Fining teachers, like they don't.
Well, like they were going to get their first time was going to be
we're not paying you enough, and now we're going to start.
Yeah, well, you got a raise, so now, but you got. I've seen a lot of the policies that are coming out. I don't have a problem with that. That one is a bit of a stretch. I was actually talking about it with my family today. Like I'm going to do a better job of keeping my phone on my desk. Instead of maybe in my back pocket, which is usually where it's at. Yep. I'll do a better job of keeping it on my desk because I do feel like it's only fair that I limit myself. So I'm going to be better about that. However, most school districts have a state mandated program that has to be on your phone to get alerts.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that is going to play into that particular school district not wanting their teachers on their phone. Also, my district personally, I know that I do have some coworkers that listen, and I'm guilty of this, and I'm going to tell on myself a little bit. I'll unplug my phone in my room because I don't want to be messed with. Like, leave me alone. I'm teaching. I will. So the lady in the office gets really frustrated at me because she's like, I really needed to talk to you and get a kid. I'm like, well, could it have waited 5 minutes? And she's like, no, it really couldn't have. I really needed you to answer your phone. But then that was when they would just text me. Like, just text me and I'll send the kid. But like, if we're doing something where it really distracts, that's an issue for me. But that's a whole nother sidebar conversation. I don't think that, like the first one was a warning. The second one was a face-to-face conversation. The third one was a write-up. And so, I don't know if I agree with that completely, but it is part of what this new push is going. Now that you're standing up, I want to stand up too.
Yeah, I got a thought and a funny story to go with what you just said. But since we're talking about standing up, I had to stand up because I got a cramp. We're so old.
My back is starting to hurt.
Yeah, no, I was getting a leg cramp. I'm like, I got to stand up. Oh man!
But I agree with the way that most of the districts that I've seen are handling this, and I think that, like I said before, our district had a policy. And now we have a law to back the policy. And I think that it'll be a good thing in the long run. It's going to be difficult first 2 weeks, but after we get past those first 2 weeks, it'll be fine.
So my thought first and then my funny story. First thought is I've gotten to where I use work focus a lot on my iPhone, and I have all these different focuses set up. So if I'm at work, the only thing that can get my attention, because I have work email and Teams on my phone, those will ding. Mm-hmm. Live 360 will if one of my kids or my wife moves around and goes somewhere. So we have that on our phones. Or if they text me or if the schools call me. All the schools where my kids are, their numbers or contacts in my phone, right? And so if the school calls, it'll ring. Otherwise, I don't see text messages until lunchtime or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I have to do that for me because I just get too easily distracted. Somebody will text me, it'll be something very simple and I'll respond to it. But then I'll just stay on my phone.
Right.
Let's see what's on the Facebook these days. And so I have to do those work focuses. And I think
I've noticed that, by the way.
Oh yeah, you've seen my notifications are silenced.
What's funny is like Clint's phone is always on silent, always on like we'll receive your notification silently. Yeah. But then you respond really quick sometimes. Yeah. But like I'm to the point of life too where like I don't respond to a lot of things real quick anyways.
Yeah.
There are certain people like that text me that I'll respond real quick.
Yep.
Or if like we're trying to figure out like something for the day that we're going to record and I see it, I'll do it. But like I have this one buddy that just sends me memes and it through text, not through a group messaging app or anything like that. He just texts me, like I'll look at and he'll have sent me like 30 TikToks. And it's like, I don't have time to go through that right now. Right. So it's like, I finally had to tell him like, look, I get these, but like if I'm responding to you at 10:30 at night, that's when I've had time to sit down and actually digest what you've sent me.
Right.
Because it's usually like 10 o'clock on a Monday morning and I'm trying to get my day going and he's already been working for a little while. So he's kind of on his break or whatever. And so he's sending me these 50,000 TikToks about AI or something that's super in depth. And I don't have the brain to focus on that right now.
So my funny story about unplugging a phone in a teacher's room. My class in high school is a bunch of pranksters. And so you and I both had a very good one that we like a lot, government and economics professor. Very good, not professor, teacher in high school. Very good teacher. Mm-hmm. Very serious, taught really well, learned a lot about government from this particular teacher. But one day, because they had phones on the wall in the classroom. I'm assuming y'all still have phones.
Yeah, we still have phones.
We took the phone cord from the receiver to the headset, and then we had a friend who was an office aide keep calling his phone.
Oh, no.
So he'd go over there, picked it up. There's, hello. And he's like obviously upset like you would be, being disturbed in the middle of his teaching. And he was so mad. Just slams the phone down and leaves. Like we didn't see him the rest of the class period.
Well,
it was the best.
So the Twitch talked about alternative placement for kids who have a fourth infraction. So basically, and I'm not going to name that particular district on the pod, but I've seen like 5 or 6 within our east of Dallas Metroplex that like you get the first 3 are fines to where it could be $50, then $100, then $150 for each, and it increases. And then there's some sort of placement, maybe like in-school suspension or detention. Then the fourth infraction is an alternative placement, so off of a campus into a disciplinary campus. I don't know exactly how I feel about that because that's going to stop it.
Yeah.
I mean, they did that with the vapes, and we've seen a significant decrease in vapes on school campuses and on school grounds. I just hold on just a second. I can't read it. It's too far away. So now apparently the wording of the law says allegedly illegal. It's illegal to charge their phone anymore as well.
I mean, if you're not on it all day, you're not going to.
It's not going to matter. I just we talked a little bit about it when it came up, but like the district I work for hasn't had a huge issue with it. But I know some district, this is going to be really hard.
Yeah,
as a teacher and an administrator,
because you're going to have kids underneath the desk doing this right here.
Well, and is that an infraction?
Yeah, it should be.
It should be, but then you're having to. It's just a distraction from learning.
Yep. So
the one other thing there's 2 other things I wanted to touch on. First off, the redistricting protest. I think we nailed this on the head. That's the clip for today. That's going to be posted on our socials. But I forgot exactly what the numbers were. But I think we put it to 5.
Mm-hmm.
We thought that they could get it down to 5. That's what all the early numbers are saying, redistricting down to 5. There are some protests going on. But like I posted something about this on our TikTok, and they were like, well, California's not doing it. And now the news has come out that California, Illinois, Indiana, and New York are all also looking at redistricting. But now the Supreme Court...
And they've done it for years.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Supreme Court... but there's some rumors that they're going to hear a case that they're not going to allow the districts to be basically based on race. The demographics of the race will not be able to do that. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out, especially here in Texas. And then I can't pronounce his name. It's a Russian name. What's his? It's on the
Dmitry Medvedev. Medvedev
says that U.S. is pushing Russia to war, and then Trump said, okay, well, we're going to move our subs.
Yeah.
So the way that I understand it is we have all of our subs are nuclear subs. I can't remember how many we have. I think it's like 8. But only, is it more than that?
Yeah.
But 2 of them in this area that are moving towards that do have nuclear warhead capabilities. So we'll see. I think that a lot of this is posturing because Trump is trying to push a peace or at least a ceasefire.
71.
We have 71 subs.
71 nuclear powered. 53 fast attack. 14 ballistic missile
70.
subs.
I did not realize that we had that many.
And so 14 ballistic missile and 4 guided missile.
Jesus Christ. I didn't think we had that many anymore. 71 is a lot.
It's a lot. Just moved 2 of them. And they're all out there and nobody knows where they are.
Yeah. I was watching. Do you watch Deadliest Catch?
Yeah.
Okay, so did you watch the season opener for this season? So one of the things, they're going to some island that they're now going west because that's where the crab are or whatever. If you watch the show, you know what I'm talking about. But they're going to
because of climate change.
Well, this is more, I think it's...
I mean, I've seen that.
Oh, because of the warm... Yeah. But now all of a sudden, now the crab have moved back to where they were in the 60s and the 70s. Imagine that. So they're all excited, but they're going to visit these places where like the captains who are in their, upper age, 50, 60, 70, saw their grandparents and granddad and grandma and their parents fish. And so they're pulling up to this one, and one of the captains is telling a story about how his dad was pulling up into this this basically docking station, and up pops a nuclear sub. And they're like, we need to get in. They were like, he says that they get on the radio with the sub, and they're like, hey, we need to get in there. Somebody's hurt on our ship. And they're like, no, back up. And he was like, no, you don't understand. Like, we have to get to that dock. And they're like, if you get any closer, we're going to sink your ship.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, wow. It's just kind of crazy how that works, and this is a very random statement, but how big the ocean truly is. Yeah. And unless, like, we took a flight when I was a teenager from Atlanta to Hawaii. And I don't remember exactly how long the flight was, but one of the things that you can see is like how long you're over the water. And I just remember thinking, like, we just flew all the way across the United States from Atlanta all the way to Hawaii. And we spent more time over the water, almost double than what we did over land. It's just
that's
so
just to the halfway point.
Yeah, that's not
in the Pacific.
Yeah,
not even the halfway point.
And when you think about like communication, that's one of the things we talk about in my classes. Like, think about the communication and how long it took and things like that. But busy week in your household or no?
Yeah, wife is back like you're back with all the PD days, so we got a full week of that, and then start school the following week. So painted a senior parking spot this weekend.
Oh, how'd that go? I meant to give you some pointers, but I forgot. Did you take a tent that covered?
Oh, yeah.
We didn't get to do that for our oldest, but we did help my brother-in-law when he was a senior. We were able to paint his, and we start new teacher service starts tomorrow, and then Tuesday's our first official day back. But I've been back for 2 weeks now because of coaching and stuff like that. So we have our media day tomorrow, and then we have our first like scrimmage on Thursday and first game next Tuesday. So it's going to be a good year. I have a big team. For those that know volleyball, about 10 to 12 is a good size team, and I have 14, maybe 15. So we're going to have to get creative, but it's going to be a good year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a different year, but a good year. I feel it. So have a great week.
Too.